In a world where purpose demands everything, what happens when the heart begins to whisper? On the story behind the glory, we step into a moment where destiny no longer feels distant, but deeply personal. Gloria Matthews has mastered discipline, built her life on faith, and learned to serve without expectation. Dr. Thompson has walked through loss, carrying strength wrapped in quiet grace. But when two lives aligned by purpose begin to echo something more, when conversations linger longer than necessary, when peace starts to feel like presence, the question is no longer, what is God doing? But, what is my heart allowed to feel? Like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to this channel for more powerful, faith-filled stories. This is not just a story of connection. It is the delicate place where duty meets destiny, and where love dares to wait on God. Inside the provincial secretariat, the BC Ottawa Task Force gathered for a critical review. Gloria stood before a projector screen presenting final drafts of the intergovernmental agreement. Her tone was confident, polished, the very image of poise. Alex, seated across the table, watched her with focused admiration. Not for her beauty, but her brilliance. As she concluded, he leaned forward. "Excellent work, Mrs. Matthews. You've made this document breathe." She smiled faintly. "Thank you, Dr. Thompson. It's easier to write laws when you believe in the people behind them." And in that brief exchange, duty and destiny shared the same breath. Later that week, the building was nearly empty. The hum of computers filled the silence. Gloria sat by her desk, redlining the final clauses. Alex walked in, jacket over his arm. "Still here?" he asked. She smiled. "Someone has to make sure the commas behave." He chuckled. "You work like someone who loves what she does." "I do," she replied. "Law gives order to chaos. Faith gives meaning to order." He nodded slowly. "And both require courage." She looked up, meeting his gaze. The air paused between them. In another life, that silence might have been romance, but in this one, it was reverence. The following Friday, Alex approached her office. "Gloria, the minister is inviting our team to the waterfront dinner for the partnership's signing celebration. Would you come?" She hesitated slightly. "If it's about work, yes. If it's social, maybe." He smiled. "Then we'll call it both, duty and friendship." She laughed softly. "All right, Dr. Thompson, duty wins." The evening glowed with golden light as city lights began to twinkle across the harbor. The dinner tables lined the marina deck, adorned with white linens and soft music. Gloria arrived in a flowing emerald dress, elegant, modest, confident. Alex, in a dark suit, greeted her with a smile that carried admiration and calm. "You clean up well, Mrs. Matthews," he teased. She grinned. "So do you, Dr. Thompson, though I think the city lights are doing half your work." It wasn't flirtation. It was grace learning to breathe again. After the speeches and applause, they drifted away from the crowd toward the waterfront. The water shimmered under moonlight. Gloria sighed gently. "I never imagined life could be peaceful again." Alex's voice was low, thoughtful. "Peace doesn't erase pain, it just teaches us to live with it differently." She turned toward him. "You speak like someone who has seen loss." He nodded slowly. "My wife passed 5 years ago. Cancer. She was my quiet strength." Silence lingered. Then Gloria whispered, "I'm sorry." He looked up, meeting her gaze. "Don't be. God never wastes pain. He just repurposes it, like grace in disguise." Her eyes glistened. "That's something I used to say too." Two wounded hearts, one language of faith, a bridge built not of attraction, but of shared healing. That Sunday, they met again, this time at Grace Chapel, Vancouver. The message that morning was titled, "The Power of New Beginnings." Gloria sat a few rows ahead, Alex and his daughter Clara sat behind her. During the altar call, the pastor said, "Sometimes God brings someone into your life not to replace what was lost, but to remind you that love still lives." Gloria's eyes filled with quiet tears. Clara glanced at her father. He smiled faintly, thoughtful, peaceful. Later that evening, Gloria sat alone at home, journal open, heart conflicted. She wrote slowly, "Lord, I've learned to serve without expectation. But what if purpose feels like love? How do I guard my heart and still obey your plan?" She closed the journal, exhaling deeply. Obedience is hardest when God's will feels like desire. Across town, Alex and Clara had dinner. "Dad," Clara said gently, "you seem lighter these days, happier." He smiled. "I'm just grateful. Work is fulfilling." She grinned knowingly. "And maybe the people at work?" He laughed softly. "Clara, she's remarkable. But I'm not rushing anything. God's timing, remember?" Clara nodded. "Mom would have wanted you to smile again. Maybe this is that prayer being answered." He reached for her hand and whispered, "Then let His will lead the way." The following week at Grace Chapel, Pastor David announced a short word after the service. Some of you are in a season where your next blessing will not come through prayer, but partnership. Don't miss God's answer because it looks like teamwork. Gloria's breath caught. In that moment, she knew the bridge she and Alex were building wasn't just for policy, it was God's architecture of restoration. That evening, as the office lights dimmed, Gloria packed her files. Alex waited by the door, smiling gently. "Good night, Mrs. Matthews." She paused, smiling. "Good night, Dr. Thompson. And thank you." "For what?" "For reminding me that peace isn't the absence of people, it's the presence of the right ones." He nodded slowly, voice low. "Then may peace never leave us." And so, between duty and destiny, two lives began to align, not in haste, not in passion, but in purpose. For when God writes love stories, He begins not with chemistry, but with calling. And so, as the night settles over the city, two hearts remain suspended between obedience and desire, learning that when God writes a story, He never rushes the pages. But this is only the beginning, because in the next chapter, emotions will no longer whisper, they will speak. Will Gloria guard her heart, or follow God into the unknown? Will Alex recognize the answer to a prayer he thought was long buried? Find out in episode 13, Whispers of the Heart. If this story stirred something in you, if it reminded you that God is still writing, still restoring, still redeeming, like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to this channel for more powerful, faith-filled stories. Because sometimes, the greatest love stories are not written by chance, but by divine design. We'll see you in the next episode.